Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared12 here bringing you another Minecraft World War II vehicle tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the F6F Hellcat. The F6F Hellcat is an American carrier-based fighter aircraft for World War II, designed to replace the earlier F4F Wildcat and to counter the Japanese Mitsubishi A6M0. It was the United States Navy's dominant fighter in the second half of the Pacific War. In gaining that role, it prevailed over its faster competitor, the Vought F4U Corsair, which initially had problems with visibility and carrier landings. Powered by a 2,000 horsepower Pratt & Whitney R2800 Double Wasp, the same power plant used for both the Corsair and the United States Army Air Force's Republic P-47 Thunderbolt fighters, the F6F was an entirely new design, but it still resembled the Wildcat in many ways. Some military observers tagged the Hellcat as the Wildcat's big brother. The F6F made its combat debut in September 1943. It subsequently established itself as a rugged, well-designed carrier fighter, which was able to outperform the A6M0 and help secure air superiority over the Pacific theater. In total, 12,275 were built in just over 2 years. Hellcats were credited with destroying a total of 5,223 enemy aircraft while in service with the U.S. Navy, U.S. Marine Corps, and Royal Navy Fleet Air Arm. This was more than any other Allied naval aircraft. After the war, Hellcats were phased out of frontline service in the U.S., but radar-equipped F6F 5Ns remained in service as late as 1954 as night fighters. The version we have here in front of us is going to be that early kind of 1944, I guess you can say kind of mid war for the Pacific type color design. This here is the tricolor scheme, which I think is probably the coolest scheme that the United States Navy has ever done on aircraft. It had that white underbelly, that kind of light blue center line, and then the dark blue top. I think it looks really good and just kind of helps the aircraft stand out, I think, a lot more than just doing it all in its solid blue color scheme. So this is going to be the model for the F6F3. The F6F5, just a little bit of an upgrade to the fighter. I don't really notice too many huge differences between the two. I could be wrong, there could be some blatant stuff, but it looks kind of the same. But really the F6F5 are going to be the ones that kind of have the fully glossy camouflage, which it's known for. Anyways, though, let's go ahead and kind of dive in here, take a look at the aircraft and kind of see what we got going on here. So, as I mentioned, we do have the tricolor camouflage on it, which I think looks really, really good on the aircraft. Just looks super nice, and you can definitely tell this is a kind of naval aircraft based off of that. We have the front engine cowl here, nothing too fancy. The cockpit right here, as well as the wings. Then we have the kind of back of the aircraft here. We obviously have the aircraft number on it, the U.S. star insignia on the side there, and then the kind of spine of the aircraft. We have the vertical stabilizer, horizontal stabilizers, and all that. I think it's a really cool aircraft. It came out really good. We have it obviously in its fighter configuration, so we don't have any other any drop tanks or anything like that added on it, just kind of the standard fighter as it would be. Overall, I think it's a really cool build. It's been asked for quite some time, so it's nice to finally give another Pacific aircraft to our World War II lineup. Anyways, though, without further ado, let's go ahead and move into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer here, we'll be going ahead and starting off with layer number 1. Now, for layer 1, and before we go ahead and get started with this build, I do want to go ahead and mention a few quick things here. First being that if you're completely new to my aircraft tutorials, the way I like to structure these tutorials, I do half on camera, half off. What this means, I'm going to build the entire center line of the aircraft on camera, and then the right side, it'll be up to you guys to take the right side and copy it over to the left side. It's pretty straightforward, and whatever we do on one side is done to the other. I think there are just a tiny bit of differences. I think mainly just with the cabling that's going to run from the cockpit to the tail. But for the most part, everything we do on either side should be the same, and I'll talk about that if we get to something that's a little bit different. With that all squared away, let's go ahead and get started. Now, layer 1 here is going to be the lowest layer of the build. This is going to be for the in-flight version of the aircraft only, as the landed version would have to sit at an angle. So again, this is going to be the in-flight version of the aircraft only. So to go ahead and get started with this layer, we're going to go ahead and begin with a row of smooth quartz. We're going to go ahead and place down a row that's going to be a total of 5. That's going to be down the center of this build. Now, depending on what version of Minecraft you're on can kind of dictate what we're going to do next. First thing is if you're on Java and you have access to a debug stick, so you have access to commands, you're going to go ahead and place down 2 pistons that are going to be upside down. We're going to be using this debug stick a little bit later to modify our pistons. For now, we're just going to leave the pistons alone. An alternative to the pistons here can be the addition of a quartz full block and a quartz top slab instead of the pistons. So again, a quartz block, top slab instead of those pistons. We're going to go then place down a quartz top slab here on the end. So it will look something like this, or it will look like that. So again, just kind of dependent on your game version. Now going ahead and moving to the other side, the opposite side of our row 5 of smooth quartz, we're going to place down our row 3 of upside down pistons. Again, an alternative here would be a quartz full block, a quartz upside down stair, which I can go and grab a quick reference for it, like this, and then a top slab. That would be an alternative. Again, for my Java players, we're going to place down a row 3 of pistons. We're going to go then place down 2 quartz top slabs on the end of that row. After that's done, going back up here to the front, we're going to place down 2 iron trapdoors coming off this top slab and this piston here. And our quartz top slab here, followed by a second quartz top slab, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 quartz upside down stairs, and then a quartz top slab after that 4th stair. We then want to take skeleton skulls and we're going to place down 2 skeleton skulls here on the side of these 2 pistons. After that, we're going to go and take our iron trapdoors and go into our second quartz top slab here from the front. We're going to place down an iron trapdoor to the side, followed by a second one like that. Make sure this iron trapdoor is on this top portion of the block and not on the bottom like that. You want it on this top portion here. We're going to go ahead and place down a row of 3 of iron trapdoors here to the side, followed by a second row, a third, and then lastly, you're going to go and place down a 4th row. So you have 4 rows of 3 or 3 rows of 4, however you want to look at it. And this is what we should have for the top-down view with layer 1 all complete. As I mentioned, you're going to be going ahead and taking the right side and copying it over to the left side. So once you have the right side copied over to the left side, again, this is what your overview is going to look like for the build from the top-down view. With that, though, that's going to wrap up everything we have there for layer 1. And with that, let's move on to layer number 2. All right, guys, moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 2. For layer 2 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to be going ahead and going to this iron bar here, and we're going to go ahead and place down, or this quartz top slab, we're going to place down an iron bar that is going to go directly on top of it and try not to break the quartz top slab like I just did. Behind that iron bar, we're going to place down a black concrete block. This can be followed by a second black concrete block, and then we're going to place down a row of cyan concrete that's going to go back a total of 10 blocks that should end on top of this quartz top slab. We're going to place down 2 more smooth quartz top slabs like so going back. Right here, we're going to place down 2 pistons. These can be substituted with a quartz full block and a quartz top slab instead of the pistons. Then we're going to place down 2 quartz top slabs like so, going off those pistons on the back there. After that's done, going back up to the front, we're going to place down a quartz stair like this, followed by a second quartz stair, and then a smooth quartz full block. We're going to go and then take our cyan concrete. We're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 prismarine walls. And then 1 and 2 cyan stainless panes. We're also going to place down 1 and 2 skeleton skulls on the side of those 2 pistons. If you have the quartz full block and top slab, you'll just place it on both sides of that full block. However, for our pistons, we'll place them on both sides there. After that's all done, going back up to the front, we're going to go and start working on our wings. We're going to start off by going ahead and grabbing our quartz full blocks. We're going to place down 1 and 2 on top of those first 2 iron trapdoors, a blue concrete block, and then 2 polished blackstone slabs back. We're going to go ahead and place down a 1 and 2 smooth quartz blocks again, another blue concrete block. This time, however, we're going to place down a polished blackstone stair and then a polished blackstone slab. We're going to go ahead and grab our smooth quartz. And again, we're going to place down 2 full blocks going back. This will be followed up with a third one this time. So you have 3. Then you have a blue concrete and then a polished blackstone stair like that. Now, after that is all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a quartz top slab. That's going to come off the side of this block here. And then place down 1 and 2 quartz full blocks, followed by a quartz upside down stair and a quartz top slab like that to go and bring us, or rather, actually, sorry, a second quartz upside down stair to kind of start to work on our wing here. Now, once that is done there, we're going to go ahead and then grab our quartz top slabs, and we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll then grab ourselves a iron trapdoor, and we're going to place down an iron trapdoor here, and then 1 to the side and 1 forward. Going forward from those 2 iron trapdoors, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 quartz top slabs. We then want to place down 1, 2, coming off the second and third from the front, and then we're going to place down an iron trapdoor here. We're going to go and then place down 1, 2, 3 iron trapdoors, and then a second row of 3 of iron trapdoors across like that. And after that is all done there, we're going to go ahead and lastly add our machine guns, which will be done by going ahead and placing down a chain coming off this block here, dark oak with fence gate, and we're going to open that fence gate toward the top slab. And once you have that all done right there, that is going to wrap up everything we have for layer 2. Again, you'll take what we do on the right side and flip it over to the left side. This is what you should have for an overview of the aircraft like that. Anyways, though, that right there is going to conclude everything there is there for layer number 2. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 3. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. For layer 3 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to begin with by going ahead and place down a black concrete block. That's going to go ahead and sit right on top of this one right here. We're going to go forward from that with 1 and 2 prismarine walls, and then a skeleton skull on the very tip there to go ahead and make that. And real quickly, we're going to go and swap out this first prismarine wall. I'm actually going to go and make a quick change here on the fly. We're going to go and grab the deep slate tile, and we're going to go and place that instead. I think that is a better look for what should actually be here. But yeah, that's what we want to have right there for the front there of the propeller. Now, going back from the black concrete block, we're going to place down a row of our cyan concrete back, so go all the way back to this quartz top slab, a total of 17 blocks. After that, going back up to the front, we're going to go ahead and continue to work out out to the sides. We're going to place down an iron bar coming off this deep slate wall, and then we're going to go ahead and then place down a black concrete block back from it. We'll then also take our warp trapdoors. We're going to place down 2 warp trapdoors on the side of the iron bar and the black concrete, and we're going to go and make sure we close them flat like so. We're going to go then place down 2 prismarine walls back, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these cyan concrete blocks. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 of your walls, and then 1, 2, 3 of your cyan stained glass. We're going to go then place down 2 iron trapdoors like so. Then 1, 2, 3. Then 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. And then it's going to go ahead and make your horizontal stabilizers there with the iron trapdoors. Now, after that is done, that's pretty much it for our fuselage for right now. We're going to go ahead and dive into working on our wings. For our wings here, we're going to start off by placing down a row 2 of blue carpet here, then a dark oak with trapdoor, and a blue carpet. We then want to place down a daylight detector, turn that to night mode, another dark oak with trapdoor, and another blue carpet. We're going to place down 2 daylight detectors, turn those to night mode, dark oak with trapdoor, and 2 blue carpets back to bring us to the back there. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves a polished blackstone slab. We're going to place it here, and we're going to go and then go back from it with 2 daylight detectors, turn those to night mode, then 2 dark oak with trapdoors. We then want to go ahead and take our polished blackstone slabs. We're going to place down 2 right here, and we're going to go ahead and then take our daylight detectors, place down 2, and then another trapdoor right there. After that is done there, we want to go ahead and then grab ourselves our pistons again. We're going to be going ahead and placing down a piston that's going to go here. And then going back from it, we're going to place down a polished blackstone slab and then a daylight detector. Again, turn to that night mode. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 pistons and then a slab. And then after we have that done, we're going to take our blue concrete. We're going to place down 2 blue concrete and then a slab here. And just a quick little side note here for the pistons, again for non-Java players, I would recommend replacing this piston, so this right here, with a blue concrete block, and then these 2 slabs right here if you are not on Java. Again, for my Java players, this is the look we're going for here for the time being. We'll also go ahead and grab ourselves our warp signs, and again, if you're on Java, to kind of help hide the pistons a little bit better, or blend them, we're going to go and use our warped signs like that on the side there. Now, after that is all done there, we want to go ahead and grab ourselves our quartz stairs, and we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 2 of upside down stairs. So 1, 2, come off the 2 full blocks of blue concrete, and then a quartz top slab on the end there. We want to go ahead and then place down 2 rows of 3 of smooth quartz slabs. So again, we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we want to place down 1 and 2 that are near the tip of the wing facing forward. And you're going to have your top slabs on that side. And that right there is pretty much all you need to do at this point in time. I'd recommend going ahead and taking the right side and flipping it over to the left side. And this is what you should have from the top-down view so far with this layer all complete. Anyways, though, with that all complete there, that is it for the main structure for this build, and we're going to go and dive into taking a look at our banners. All right, guys, so the next kind of part here before we go and wrap up this layer is actually going to be talking about the banners. Now, the banners here are pretty straightforward. We don't really have too much crazy stuff going on with it, but I do want to go and talk about the placement and how to go ahead and get started with this. Now, for this aircraft design in particular, I went ahead and put the numbered here. I have seen some pictures that show the number on the front nose cowl and some that are also on the vertical stabilizer. But for me, I think that it looks really good in the middle, as some of the Hellcats did have. I mean, it varied depending on what squadron and where the Hellcat was based out of. So obviously there are definitely going to be some different places you can put this, but for me, I'm going to put it right here. Now, what I went ahead and did here is I have a 2-digit number. You can see it starts on this block here, so it kind of touches that lead or the trailing edge of the wing, and then you have your second number right there. So you can go and choose whatever numbers you want. I'm not going to show you guys how to make the numbers, but I would recommend using cyan banners for this, and then using white to make the numbers. There are plenty of tutorials out there that do cover how to make these numbers. Again, I will not be jumping into that, but I will show you the placement. On the left side, this is where you want them sitting. It's perfect for a 2-digit number. You could fit a 3-digit number in if you want, but the 2-digit number is going to be the best looking. And then over on the other side here, obviously it's going to be the same thing. So it's going to be 18 here on the side. So just make sure you have that on both sides and are good to go. The banners I will be showing you guys how to make here are going to be the National Star insignia, so that U.S. Insignia on the side of the aircraft. So for this, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into our loom, and we're going to go ahead and place down we're going to need a black banner, 2 white banners, 1 white die, 2 cyan die, and 4 blue die. Now for these banners, pretty straightforward stuff here. We're going to go and start by taking our black banner, we're going to place it into the loom along with our white die. We're going to do a line that goes right across the center horizontally. Really straightforward. Put that back into the loom with your cyan die this time. We're going to do a line that goes across the top third of the banner, then the line that goes across the bottom third. So you get this basically white stripe with black outlines on both sides, and that's your striped banner right there. For our other banners, you're going to go ahead and place down your white banners in the loom as well as your blue die. For your first banner, you're going to go ahead and do the square in the bottom left-hand corner, and then the square in the top left-hand corner. That's going to make your first banner. Other banner is going to be the exact opposite. So bottom right corner and top right corner. And that's it. Really straightforward stuff. And these are basically placed right after the numbers. So we have our striped and then our 2 banners like that to kind of form that white circle, which the star would sit in. So it would be the blue circle, and then the star would sit in that white circle. And then we have our striped banner there. So really nice looking design, kind of helps flush out the aircraft. Definitely, again, shows it's American and all that stuff, but overall really nice design for it, and like the way it came out. So that right there is going to basically finish off that and everything we have for layer 3. Let's go ahead and jump on up to layer number 4. Moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 4. For layer 4, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down an iron bar first on top of this deep slate wall right there. We're going to go then place down a black concrete block behind that, followed by 1, 2, 3 of our blue concrete. And then we're going to place down a row 3 of black concrete. You can leave the space open if you do want to go ahead and do a little bit of detailing in the cockpit. However, we don't have really much space here, especially when we put our glass canopy on. So for me, I just went ahead and left this completely closed off. After that, though, we're going to go ahead and then place down a row of blue concrete down the center here. It's going to be a total of 6. Then we want to go and place down a piston. Again, an alternative here to the piston can be a polished black stone stair. Let me go ahead and kind of show you guys the orientation. That would sit like this. After that piston, we're going to go ahead and then place down a polished black stone slab, 2 of your cyan concrete, and then a prismarine wall here on the very end. To the sides of our cyan concrete, we're going to place down 2 dark oak with trapdoors here. And then we're going to go ahead and then place down a row of 3. And then on the remaining iron trapdoors, we're just going to go ahead and place down blue carpet like that to go ahead and keep that blue color all the way across the top. Then going forward of this, we're going to place down a wither skeleton skull on both sides of the piston, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue stained glass panes forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue concrete, a polished black stone stair like so, and then 1, 2, and 3 stairs forward from it like that to go and create your nose cowl. And once you have that all complete there, that is going to basically wrap up what we have for the fuselage. And then for the wings here, very simple, just to go ahead and finish off the wing tips. We're going to go ahead and start off by taking our dark oak with trapdoors. We're going to place down 1, 2, and 3, and then 1, 2, and then on the remaining quartz, we're just going to go ahead and place down some blue carpet to go ahead and cover up the top there. And once we have that all done, that is going to basically conclude what we have there for this layer. And again, take a look at it from up above. This is what we should have for the top-down view. And that is going to conclude everything there is for layer 4. And with that, let's move on to layer number 5. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a dark oak trapdoor on top of this iron bar here. And we're going to go ahead and place down a second trapdoor behind it, as well as 2 of our daylight detectors, which we'll go ahead and turn to the night mode like so. We're going to go then place down a polished black stone slab, as well as an air brick stair, 2 black stained glass full blocks, then 2 blue concrete full blocks. We're going to go then place down a piston, again a polished black stone stair as an alternative can be placed like that. Then a polished black stone slab, a daylight detector, turn to night mode, and then we're going to place down an iron bar on top of this blue concrete block here. For your vertical stabilizer, we're going to place down a prismarine wall, a cyan concrete block, and another prismarine wall right behind that. To the sides here, we're going to start off with the piston or the stair right here. We're going to place down a wither skeleton skull, then 2 blue stained glass panes going forward, 2 black stained glass panes going forward, and then a wither skeleton skull like that on the side of that air brick stair. Now, once we have that all done there, that is going to conclude everything we have there for layer number 5. At this point in time, I'm also going to go ahead and take the liberty to go ahead and build our props for the aircraft, so we can go ahead and get those squared away and out of the way. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to this wall here. We're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks to this side. We're going to delete these first 3 blocks, and then we're going to go and place down 3 wither skeleton skulls coming off those blocks stacked to the side. We're going to go ahead and place down a polished black stone wall going up like this. Then we're going to place down another wall like so, kind of going up at an angle, and then a wither skeleton skull that's going to go up like that to go ahead and make your other prop. And then lastly, our third prop here is going to be done by placing down a block here, a wither skeleton skull, polished black stone wall coming down from the wither skeleton skull, and then we're going to place down another block here in the bottom with a wither skeleton skull that's going to come off like that. So it's going to basically sit like that, and that's going to make your other blade that is going to sit right here. So with that all done there, that's your blade complete, and I can delete these blocks so you can kind of get a better look at it. So those are your props, or your blades done for the propeller, and that's all squared away, and we don't have to worry about that any further. Anyways, with that all the way, let's go ahead and move into our last final layers of the build. Moving into our last final layers, we have layers 6 and 7. For these layers to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to take our daylight detectors, and we're going to place down 2 on top of these black stained glass blocks. We're going to go ahead and turn those also to the night mode. We're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak trapdoor that goes back from those, as well as an end rod that's going to sit right here. For your vertical stabilizer, we're going to place down a cyan concrete block on top of here, then a cyan glass pane on both sides of that block, and then a warp trapdoor on the very top there of that cyan concrete block. Now, once we have that done, we're going to go and take barrier blocks, or structure blocks, or basically an invisible block, and we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, and 3 barrier blocks, if they will load. So going back from the center rod, we're going to place down 1, 2, and 3 of these barrier blocks back like so. We then want to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3 stone buttons on top of those. And we're going to go ahead and then place down a barrier block coming off this last stone button. 1, 2, 3. Going back like that. And we're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3 stone buttons on the left side, and the left side only like that. So your cable is going to be a little bit off to the side. Now what we want to do here next is kind of a few options you have here, and one of the options is you can go ahead and grab yourself a flower pot for my non-Java players, and you can place down a flower pot here. So that kind of forms the connection of where the cable is connecting to. However, for Java players, we're going to place down a block to the side here on the space above the glass pane, and we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a lever. We're going to place down a lever here on the side of this block, and we're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves a debug stick. This can be grabbed by going ahead and typing the command /give @p Minecraft :debug_stick. So this command here, press and enter, will give you this glowing stick. We're going to left click the lever till we get selected face. Should say wall in parentheses. We'll right click, set it to floor. we're going to left click again until we get selected facing, and we're going to go ahead and rotate this around until it connects up to what would be our barrier block right here. And that kind of forms a nicer connection there for the cabling, and those are kind of your two options there. Now, if you are a Java player also, we're going to go ahead and go to all of our pistons, and we're going to left click till we get selected extend if false pop up. We'll then right click like this to go ahead and get rid of the wood. And this kind of is going to help give us a better overall shaping here of the aircraft. And we'll take a look at this here in a sec. But make sure you go around to each of your pistons. You have the ones on the wings, the ones underneath, and the ones on the spine of the aircraft. So once you have those all done and corrected, you will get basically a really nice looking shape for the aircraft, and it kind of ties everything together. Also on the front here as well, with the debug stick, you can also change the properties here of the iron bar by actually extending it out to the sides here. So it may take a little bit of playing around, but you want to go ahead and do the selected, and it should say direction. You're going to go ahead and basically just extend them to the sides like that, real easy on the bottom one, and it just kind of helps bring that engine design kind of fully through the entire build there. And that right there is kind of it for the debug stick, and with that, that is going to complete my overall design here for the F6F Hellcat. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do have used this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This can be linked from a sound the build, link to my channel or this video. If this does bring your social media sites, all I ask is that you give me proper credit for this build if you do use it for any of your projects. I do hope you guys do enjoy the build, and as always, feel free to leave suggestions and World War II Pacific fighters you would like to see next time, and I will definitely try to get to them as soon as I can. With that though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your 2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.